It's Thursday night in the A. You know what that means. Kelly Price and Tori McElhaney is coming at you on Rise Up Tonight, presented by AT&T.
Atlanta, the calendar may say November now, but we are firmly still amidst a beautiful Kirktober. The most wonderful time of the year has been going on for a couple of games now for Falcons fans. And Tori, I refuse to move on from this season, just like my Halloween decor is still at home.
Kelly and I are holding on to Kirktober with everything we've got in us, that's for sure.
With a commanding division lead, its first 6-3 record since that faded 2016 season, and a team full of players smashing team and personal records, Atlanta seems to be only just heating up as the weather is supposed to be cooling down. Let's huddle up about it.
Let's huddle up with Kelly and Tori on the world of Falcons football.
Now, I could throw all kinds of crazy Kirk Cousins numbers at you about how he's doing things that he hasn't even done in some respects, about how this offense is already surpassing season stats of last year's offense, about how most of the Falcons have hit or are already at their career best halfway into the year. But you've watched these games. You've seen that. You've felt that. The thing I continue to be impressed by is with so many mouths to feed, nobody seems to be going hungry in this offense. And as simple or as boring as it may sound, every cog in this machine is really executing his role. The passing game in particular did not skip a beat, even when Drake London exited with a hip injury after his touchdown on Sunday. So how are the Falcons flying so high in that area, Tori?
It begins and ends with Kirk Cousins. He said the moment he signed with the Falcons that the role he sees himself playing in this offense is being the best point guard he can be, the best distributor he can be. In the last month, he's been that, and it's everyone around him who's benefiting the most. Kelly mentioned the Falcons are already surpassing season stats from last year, and she's right. 9 games into the 2024 season, the Falcons have already amassed 93% of their total production at wide receiver from 2023. 93%, y'all. And they could easily get to 100% needed to surpass last season's total this weekend in New Orleans.
That is actually crazy. Meanwhile, this just in, I am being told the Falcons have sacked a quarterback multiple times, even back-to-back. Indeed, it was true on Sunday against the Dallas Cowboys, who have quite a few of those that they've given up this year. So my question for you, Tori, is did Atlanta notching 3 sacks, 8 quarterback hits say more about the Cowboys in this one or the Falcons? And what can they kind of take forward from that?
So I think it's hard to say because I think 2 things can be true at the exact same time. The Falcons have worked to dissect the pass rush problems, and looking back at the tape, guys were just all out winning their reps up front. So there's that. But the other side of the coin is that Dak Prescott ranks in the top 10 among the most sacked quarterbacks in 2024. So there's an argument for both sides. But you want to know the best way to squash an argument?
I do.
Do it again. Wreak havoc in the backfield. Make Derek Carr uncomfortable from the start to finish on Sunday and show people that last Sunday's performance wasn't a fluke.
I would say you hate to see it, but I know Falcons fans really don't. Dennis Allen out of a job after the Saints lost to the Panthers Sunday. More importantly, they haven't won any games since September 15th after that 2-0 start. Now, this is something we talked to Raheem Morris about yesterday. Morris was the interim head coach here after Dan Quinn was fired, and they ripped Kirk Cousins' Vikings back in 2020, believe it or not. They won that one 40-23. They went on to win 3 of their next 5 after their in-season coaching change. And it could be hard to defend against a team with nothing to lose. This week, a new interim head coach in New Orleans. Things can look different than that Week 4 matchup. So, Tori, I think this game maybe is not just as much about the Saints' response to everything going on in their building as it is about the Falcons and maturity to stand on their business.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Look, for as bad as it may look right now in New Orleans, because of the salary cap situation and how many contracts the organization is going to have to shed in 2025, every player on this current roster in New Orleans is fighting for their next job, their next contract. That makes them dangerous. You cannot walk in there flat. For the Falcons to show us that they have evolved past what they were against the Seahawks and more of what they showed last week against the Cowboys, they should be controlling this game from start to finish. On paper, that's what should happen. But this is the Falcons-Saints rivalry, so who the heck knows?
Yeah, the rivalry piece is a big part of it, as we know. Well, some Falcons described that win against the Cowboys as a workman's-like opportunity. They were certainly dressed for a big day of taking care of business at the office. We're walking in, presented by Wells Fargo. We start with a member of a position group that's really had a workman's-like mindset all year. Left guard Matthew Bergeron. This guy has been making the most of every walk-in opportunity this season. He has been absolutely smashing the suit game this year. Justin Simmons level stuff, but more on that in a second.
I knew the moment I saw this green suit that there was no way that Kelly Price was going to let this fall by the wayside. I'm sorry, but Kelly, your love for green gave this first spot away immediately.
This is literally, I think, one of my favorite looks of the whole year. I'm just going to throw that out there. All right, next up, a couple things I like here about Kyle Pitts' fit. It is literal, number 8. That amuses me, but also can be taken conceptually. Are we looking into a magic 8 ball? Will he have a big day? As we were texting about on game day, there's potential holiday tie-ins here too.
Yeah, so I definitely may have texted Kelly Sunday saying, and I quote, is this giving Alvin and the Chipmunks? Like, I know, right? Like, I know that Alvin didn't have a number on his sweater, but like, it makes sense, no?
Oh, I see it. And we end this segment, as we seem to always do, with Justin Simmons. My guy keeps hitting us with these monochromatic matching sets. We cannot keep him out of this segment, even when we're trying to give equal opportunity. Step up your game, everyone else. This man doesn't miss.
Kelly did give me options for this 4th spot, and I just couldn't put anyone over Justin because fundamentally, this is the best fit.
Fundamentals. Still to come, why not have a chef whose restaurants have been recognized by the Michelin Guide help you out this Thanksgiving? He's a fellow Falcons fan, just like you guys as well. We go in the nest with Joey Ward later in the show.
Rise Up Tonight is presented by AT&T and brought to you by Georgia Lottery. Today could be the day. By Mercedes-Benz, the best of nothing. And by Home Depot, how doers get more done. Falcons fans, do you ever wonder what's really on your favorite player's mind? It's time for Question of the Week, brought to you by Zaxby's, Famous Fingers and Sauces.
Do you drink coffee?
No, I do not.
I don't drink coffee at all.
I don't even know too much about coffee. I just drink it when I'm tired. But if I do drink it, I drink it black.
Okay.
It's horrible, but it'll wake me up. I'm more of a latte kind of guy. Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
I'm not really big on coffee, but I will go, if I'm going to Starbucks, I'm getting a caramel frap though.
I just drank coffee this morning because I was tired. I hate coffee. Absolutely hate coffee. Anything somebody can help me with energy besides coffee, I would take it. I hate coffee. If I'm drinking coffee, it's probably
We're down bad.
3 sugars, 3 creams. It's probably hot chocolate at a certain point.
We're down bad at that point.
I'll ask for a mocha, and then that's pretty much it.
Bombastic side eye. Criminal offensive side eye.
That's a great question, actually.
You like that? You like that?
I usually freak out when I go because I'm usually a black coffee at home kind of guy. But when I do go to a coffee shop with my wife, she'll say it too. I look at the menu, she'll order, and I'll look back at her. I'm like, what do I get? Random every time. I never know what I'm gonna get.
Like we're going caramel, we're going flavors.
If I'm gonna go
sweet.
spend money on coffee, I'm gonna get something fun. So, like I said, I'm black coffee. When I go spend it, I get something new every time.
I am with Charlie on that, but none of that could be us because I know we drink a lot of coffee. That's been the hardest part of pregnancy. There's less of that.
There may or may not be a coffee below this desk at the current moment.
Well, the offense hasn't needed much coffee. They've gone for 4th down, 4 of 4 on the last 2 weeks, and that's kind of becoming a trend for them.
Yeah, so, okay. I wrote in my notebook this Monday that the Falcons are 11 of 15 on 4th down, which I don't need to tell you is good. So I took a look at kind of all of those plays, trying to decipher a trend or two, or even a secret sauce to success, if you will. What's interesting is there really wasn't one. Though they have seen the most success throwing the ball, scoring 4 touchdowns on 4th down plays, they've also run it. We've gotten a Kirk Cousins sneak. They've gone for it on 4th and short, medium, and long. The overwhelming theme, though, if there was one, there's a confidence in their aggression. From the top to the bottom, Raheem Morris making the decision, Zach Robinson getting the play call in, the players executing it. They're coming to a decision quickly and executing it with confidence.
Well, 2 days after beating the Cowboys at Mercedes-Benz Stadium with that confidence, the Falcons welcomed children in foster care there with the goal of boosting their adoption profiles in conjunction with Georgia Kids Belong. Time to rise up for Atlanta, brought to you by Truist. The kids had a professional photo shoot, did video interviews that increased their adoption chances, and got to spend time with the Falcons themselves. All these children are available for adoption in Georgia. For more, check out americaskidsbelong.org. And for Caden Ellis, this one really hit home.
My family, there's 12 kids. I'm the oldest of 12, and 7 have been adopted, 5 biological. We got a big old family, and my parents kind of started that legacy. We want to continue that. The Falcons, it gives you a pretty good opportunity to partner with organizations like this and make a kid's day.
Caden Ellis, one of 3 Falcons to take down the quarterback finally on Sunday. We'll talk more about that and see who's earned the Dirty Bird chain to end the show.
And if you're more of a order-in kind of person instead of a cook-from-scratch chef, which I am, we've got a great idea for you of how to tackle Thanksgiving. We go in the nest with Joey Ward next.
Welcome back to Rise Up Tonight. Let's head in the nest with Kelly, Tori, and this week's special guest, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz.
Really excited to have in the nest with us Joey Ward tonight, the executive chef and owner of Michelin-recommended restaurants Southern Belle and Georgia Boy in Atlanta. As you can see, we've got an incredible Thanksgiving spread. We're going to talk about that in a second, but I actually want to talk to you about your career and kind of starting your restaurants here in Atlanta. Take us through your path, because you're from Atlanta.
I am.
You came back here and you started these restaurants.
Yeah, so I was born and raised here. I did leave for a brief time to go to culinary school in New York and work in New York for a little bit, but came back and have been very proud to be a native Atlantan. In fact, named my restaurants Southern Belle and Georgia Boy. There's 2. Georgia Boy really hinting at the fact that I'm not a transplant, that I'm really really one of the rare finds here in Atlanta, and celebrating Atlanta produce and telling the story of Atlanta through a culinary lens is kind of what we do.
I know Kelly and I have had a lot of people on the show talking about it, but what does the food scene in Atlanta mean to you, and also, I guess, the culture of Southern cuisine?
The food scene in Atlanta is exploding. I couldn't be more proud to be a part of it and to have my colleagues and friends be, the chefs that I admire, seeing the limelight that they deserve. Michelin coming through,
right?
And other cities are taking notice of what wonderful hospitality Georgians have, and the produce, the farmers, the agriculture, the livestock, everything is so awesome.
Yeah.
It's raised properly. The animals walk around. It tastes better, and it's served with good old-fashioned Southern hospitality, right? So, what could be better?
Now, you're wearing Falcons sweatshirt,
of course,
and you are a Georgia boy through and through. So, can you tell us a little bit about your relationship with the Falcons fandom and what memories maybe you have of this team?
The memory
the good and
that everyone thinks of is the heartbreak that was the Super Bowl a few years ago. I try not to dwell on that, but that taught me a lot about myself and my emotional roller coaster, ups and downs.
A lot.
Yeah. Don't celebrate too early. I learned that. But no, I mean, I love the Mercedes-Benz Stadium is so awesome, and to host all these other events nationally at this venue is really cool. The rest of the world looks at our hometown, the team is great. I think they've got a new revised energy, a can-do attitude, and once they settle in, I think we're going to have probably a championship, squad.
Yeah. Can you talk about holiday season? It is coming up. It's right around the corner. So can you tell us a little bit about what you are doing with your restaurant and with everything that y'all have going on and what y'all are offering?
Yeah, absolutely. So fall means 2 things to me personally. One is Falcons football.
Yes. Love that.
And I even brought my my Falcons hat here. That's vintage.
Love to see it.
I was like, I'd never seen that before. Yeah.
And
love the tablescape.
a spread of Thanksgiving fare. I mean, Thanksgiving's one of my favorite holidays. I love to eat. I'm like a recovering chubby kid, so I just love gathering around a table with friends or family and eating good food. And so I thought taking away some of the hard work that goes into that for the mom, the dad, the grandma, whoever's doing it, and making it teeing it up for them to have a successful, delicious, chef-curated Thanksgiving spread, and then they just take care of the turkey. We take care of everything else. We call it the Southern Belle side hustle. Yeah. So all of our offerings are available a la carte. They're all about $28, give or take. They feed up to 4 people, or 6 people that don't eat a lot, I guess, or 1 like me, maybe.
Yeah, honestly, it's like maybe 2.
And so we just do everything that you're familiar with, probably, but with a little bit of a Southern Belle twist, kind of what we're known for. We're doing sweet potato casserole. This is baked with brown butter. We do this fortified brown butter that tastes really nutty. There's molasses in in there, and probably our secret ingredient is we do this salted Biscoff cookie crumble on top.
I was going to ask, because I was like, that looks like Biscoff.
It goes really great with the sweet potatoes, and what's more Atlanta than, you know, think about flying Delta and getting a Biscoff cookie. So we love those there. Green bean casserole made with fresh green beans, locally cultivated shiitake mushrooms from a local farm, and then we actually use our own fermented mushroom powder to make the cream of mushroom soup in there. So it's all homemade. We do our Parker House rolls with Banner butter. It's going to be a local company, cultured butter that's based here in Atlanta. Smoked collard greens, or these are actually a mix of different greens. We've got kale, collard greens, mustard greens in there. A little different maybe than what you're used to. We braise them in a beef broth, and then we add butter and then put them in the smoker. And so it gets like this deep, you probably smell it actually.
No, everything smells incredible.
Then we've got cranberry sauce, my version. I do North Georgia apples in there. Just add a little twist, as well as a little bit of dried pineapple pieces as well.
Interesting.
And then I want to plug ATL Pies by Julie. We're outsourcing the pies because I'm not a pie maker, but she's a good close friend of mine, and she does this great pie business on Instagram. This is going to be a salted caramel pumpkin pecan pie.
Oh wow!
Which is fun to say. That comes to the mac and cheese. So we're using corkscrew macaroni for this, a little bit bigger of a noodle. We make it with Georgia Gouda and then an aged cheddar and a mild cheddar. And then the topping is really fun, and that's actually what I wanted to show you guys how to make.
Let's do it.
All right, cool.
Let's do it.
It's super simple. So,
yes. I can use all the help I can get.
Our viewers know we're so good at this.
So
try really hard.
This is pretty simple. It's looking like 5 ingredients. So food processor, these are just Japanese breadcrumbs. You can use really any breadcrumbs you want.
Nice.
This is our secret. So you may have some cheese snacks left over from watching the game, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
So you have that on site. A little bit of shredded cheese. That's mild cheddar.
Perfect.
Our spices are going to be garlic powder and paprika.
Lovely.
And a little bit of salt.
This is all definitely stuff that you would just have in your pantry too.
And then just some soft butter, so it's like room temperature butter.
I love the amount of butter that's going in there.
Yeah, I didn't mention, it's not low calorie.
It's Thanksgiving. You don't have to be low.
It doesn't count, right?
Don't count on Thanksgiving.
No.
Yeah, so we pulse it together and it kind of makes into this like dough almost.
Okay, nice.
And then basically take this and sprinkle it on top of your casserole once you get the mac in there. And it bakes up just like this.
Okay.
Very beautiful.
Cool. So it doesn't have to be pretty because it's going to end up melting and getting all bubbly and toasty.
Amazing.
Well, it's going to be beautiful because it's coming from Southern Belle.
Exactly.
SouthernBelleATL.com, and you can pre-order these. They're available for pickup the day before Thanksgiving, so the Wednesday before.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, Joey. Really appreciate it. This looks amazing. Everyone, make sure you go check out Georgia Boy, Southern Belle, these Thanksgiving side hustles.
There
and
you
of
go.
course, you got a Dirty Bird making it for you. How can you say no? We'll be right back on Rise Up Tonight.
Hey Atlanta, this is Head Crack talking, and you watching Rise Up Tonight, presented by AT&T.
My teammate used to say, walk into your trap, take over your trap.
You like that? I feel like that. I like that.
And they were playing that song about you swag and surf, and the whole stadium was moving. And I looked around, I was like, this is pretty sweet.
Well, we've given him and the offense a lot of love in this segment. We're going different with this week's Dirty Bird chain. We're going with the defense. Caden Ellis recorded a season-high 13 tackles, his third straight week with double-digit tackles, 3 quarterback hits, his first sack of the year, at a time when Atlanta really needed anything to show signs of life in that pass rush. He proved why he is one of the most important elements of the Falcons' ability to do that.
Finally, after weeks of Caden Ellis leading this team in pressures, he finally got home. And honestly, considering how much I've talked about Caden's role in this defense every freaking week on the Falcons Final Whistle podcast and how versatile that he can be as a pass rusher, I'm so glad to finally have the game to show for it.
This is yours, Caden. All right, we'll see what happens this week. We'll see you next week on Rise Up Tonight. Good night.